to begin this podcast. This is Skip the Ads, episode 3. This episode is going to be all about nostalgia. It's for everyone, apparently. So, first on my right, I have my co-host.
Ben, how you doing?
With me, as always, fact checker.
Hello, I'm Emma.
And with us again for a second week is our guest.
Hi, I'm Brooke.
Hello.
Nice to meet you all.
Hey. Welcome back.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Yay!
Okay, so today is our nostalgia episode. We're just going to be talking about our favorite movies and all that sort of stuff. This is because Ready Player One just came out. Well, recently came out. If this is a week from now. Yep. So Ready Player One is pretty much a movie just all about nostalgia. It's built in a VR reality and all this sort of stuff, and it's just playing on every single homage to every single thing you could possibly think of from your childhood. So I thought, you know what? Let's just talk about our childhoods. We'll talk about the movies that we enjoyed growing up and go from there. So we might as well start with our special guest, Brooke. Brooke, what was your favorite movie growing up?
My favorite movie when I was a child was Grease.
Which really doesn't speak for your age at all, because it came out in what, like 78?
Yeah, much before I was born.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Think you're the youngest out of all four of us?
Probably. I'm always the youngest out of groups of people.
Well, you're only 1 year younger than me. Don't worry.
Yes.
She wins. So why? Let's go
All
to
right,
like
old farts over there.
why is Grease your favorite film? Let's go from there.
Well, from when I was a kid, I guess it was fun. There was music in it. There was dancing. It kind of just had everything.
Were you one of those
And when you're
kids-
watching the TV, it's just super.
It's very lively. Were you one of those kids that had to like sing and dance along?
Not so much. I can't sing. To save
I don't
my
think
life.
that really matters. No,
I don't think anyone can sing.
No.
But I always knew that I couldn't sing, and I was never a person to sing out loud because I knew that I couldn't sing. So I would just kind of bop along.
Oh, so you're just a dancer.
Yeah, I loved dancing.
The shoulders would go, the arms maybe,
you know,
just
definitely. The foot starts tapping the whole time.
You're just like, I want to sing, but I just can't.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Ben, what's your thoughts on Grease?
Yeah. Well, I only saw the full movie
Yeah.
a couple of years ago.
Only a couple of years ago.
Only a couple of years ago, yeah.
You did not have a childhood.
But I knew.
Well,
the
we
music.
revealed last time he didn't watch like what Mary Poppins. You still haven't watched that?
Yeah, still haven't
Yeah,
watched
me
Mary
neither.
Poppins,
So you can't judge us.
But I think with Grease, because
Judging.
the songs are so well known, everybody knows the songs to Grease. It's kind of like a bit of a free pass. It's like, well, you haven't seen the movie, but I know all the songs.
Hey, Grease Lightning.
Go on, Grease.
I don't know the rest of it. That's literally all I know.
Like that comes on, and that just everyone in the room, just doesn't matter what mood you're in, you'll
have
sing it,
to
or you'll be
dance.
like, oh, this is Grease.
I'm gonna
gonna
to
commit.
this.
Yeah, I'm gonna bop and then do a Travolta impression as well.
Well, do you have a John Travolta like impression?
Yes.
Impression?
Yes.
Impersonation.
Oh, geez, Sandy. I mean, come on, geez.
Are you going for a 50s gangster?
Wasn't that what he? Yeah, that.
No, don't worry. I actually thought that was pretty decent.
Thank you.
That was pretty decent for an impression. I was not expecting it to be that so close to the movie.
Yeah.
To tell you honestly.
I told
It was that
you.
era.
Emma?
Me.
Yeah.
I loved it. I was the child that sung and danced along to everything. And
Oh, so you actually sung to this?
Yep. And when we had like the school discos, like the dress up ones, I would dress up as Sandy with like the one like right at the end. So like the very end song where she had the big
leather.
perm
Oh,
hair
yeah.
and like
Yeah.
the black and
Oh,
yep.
yeah.
Look at me, I'm Sandra D. Yeah. You're just like, that's me. Look at me, everybody.
And then I'd stand in the corner and be like, oh, I'm so shy, I can't do this.
And then you actually see yourself in a mirror reflection and you're like, what am I doing?
Just walk past her.
You scare yourself because you don't realize that's actually you. You're
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
oh, that's right. Well, we all know that like Grease was like one of the all-time favorite like musicals that came out in the 70s. There hasn't been much that's come out since then that is like super iconic.
Yeah.
As like that sort of musical.
It has been redone on the stage. Not in a
Yeah.
movie, but it was redone on the stage with Julianne Hough. Do you know who? Do you know who she's an
Is
actor.
The,
She's
the
also
sister of Derek Huff?
yes,
Yeah.
but she's a professional dancer, but she also acts. She's in a couple of movies as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she was in Rock of Ages.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. She was in one as not too long ago. There was one, but I can't remember the name of it at all. It's gone. Sorry.
Or just turned out being Rock of Ages.
Probably.
Yeah.
No, it was a super recent one where she was running from her abusive husband and she sheltered in a tiny little town and fell in love with someone else and stuff. Safe Haven.
Yes.
I have
was
no
it.
idea whether that movie is.
Yeah, it could have been any movie along that genre.
That's
They
not
would've
our area of
disagreed with
expertise,
us.
let's be honest.
All right, men.
But we all know that there was Grease, but how many of us know that there was a Grease 2?
I did know that, but I have actually never seen it, which is sad because Grease was my favorite movie. But I almost thought that it would ruin the first one, so I never watched it.
I could only sit through about the first 10 minutes of it before I turned it off.
So it would
it's
have ruined it.
truly terrible.
I
you go.
didn't enjoy the 10 minutes that I watched at all.
Just so you know, Ben, it actually stars Michelle Pfeiffer, which is very famous specifically for me as the Catwoman from Tim Burton's Batman's.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
She's still going to always be Catwoman to me out of all of them. But yeah, definitely not a fan of hers in that Grease 2 film.
Did it have Travolta in it? Was he
No.
in
No.
Ah,
It's
so-
after Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta have left high school.
It was pretty much a whole new cast.
Whole new cast.
Yeah.
Right?
No, they should not have done that.
No.
Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta were like,
It's the John part, isn't it? It's just the fact
Yeah,
that they share
yeah,
that John.
yeah.
That they're just like, you
That
know
was
what?
their
They're
connection.
partners. They're going to be partners in crime forever.
But if you're curious, give it a go.
Yeah, we're not going
Right.
to judge here.
Yeah.
We're not about like ruining movies with our voices.
No,
yeah.
not at all.
Not until we make a film and then we ruin it with our actual voices.
Me and my manly husky sick voice at the moment.
What do you mean, Earl?
Shut up.
Tell him, Earl.
Look, I'd at least want to be Steve, okay? Not Earl.
Steve, sorry.
What about Bob? Bob's a good name. I like Bob.
You're a Bob.
Okay, we'll actually move on from Grease then.
Don't want to make Earl angry.
Yeah, Bob, Steve, Earl, whatever her name is.
Just call me whatever.
Yeah. We can actually move on to Ben's favorite film from his childhood, which came out in 1993. It was Jurassic Park.
Yes.
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 I still wasn't alive for that one either, sorry.
It was 2 years before you were
Yep.
born.
Closer.
It was close.
But
It
I was still not
I wasn't
born.
alive even for this movie, but it is still actually one of my favorite films growing up. Like, you don't have to be born, especially seeing that you loved Grease.
Yeah.
You can't actually say much about when it comes to movies being made before you were
Yeah.
born. Pretty much all movies at this stage were made before you were born.
Maybe not all.
It terrified me when I was a child, but when I got older and rewatched it, I actually really thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, like, Ben, let's what made you love Jurassic Park? Like,
Well, for me, it's my perfect movie. Like, there's nothing about it which I go, oh man, this is a really bad scene, or this part's really really boring, and this is where the story drops. That was the first time we actually saw, really good special effects.
Yeah.
And it just looked amazing. And I was a dinosaur nut as a kid, so to see this at the movies, like, I was just blown away.
just such realistic looking dinosaurs
yeah.
on screen. Yeah, no, I can imagine that. Especially the fact that they actually used like pure animatronics for a lot of the dinosaurs, and
Yeah,
then they're like,
yeah.
with the CG, they'll be on their time. It still holds up today.
And it's, your classic Spielberg movie. It's not just that it looks great. The story works really well, and there's some really tense, scary scenes in there. And yeah, as a kid, like, I remember sitting on the seat in the movies and pulling my legs up when the raptors were in the kitchen looking for the kids.
The popcorn going everywhere as
Yeah.
you're getting scared.
And
Yeah.
Dad was like,
I was hiding under a
Dad was
pillow.
laughing, thinking it was great, and I was like, no, this is really good, but I am terrified at the moment.
I will be
And-
hiding underneath my bed tonight. So,
Why
yeah.
would you hide underneath your bed? There's things hiding underneath.
If you have you watched Jurassic Park, if the things are coming after you, you hide.
Yeah, you're hiding. In your
Yeah,
closet.
the safest place to hide is under your blanket.
Yeah.
Duh.
I didn't realize that.
There's
Apparently.
monsters under your bed.
Oh, sorry, I didn't grow up with the monsters under my bed notion. So
No childhood again. What is with these guys?
okay. Thanks. Brooke, what's your thoughts on Jurassic Park? Like, when you first watched it, did you fall in love with it like Ben did, or?
Probably not the first time I watched it.
It scared the crap out of you?
Yeah. Being a female, I wasn't really.
Hey, we're not going to gender define here when it comes to like whether you're going to be afraid of it or not. Let's not go there.
I haven't finished my sentence
Oh,
yet.
I'm sorry. As a female,
Being
continue.
a female, I wasn't necessarily that super intrigued by dinosaurs or anything like that. I was more into clothes and
Yeah, because
makeup
that
and
wasn't
whatever.
going down the like gender stereotype way.
Still,
Can we stop watching
was-
the dinosaurs? Where's the clothes?
Oh no, they're ruining their clothes.
why are they rolling around in the mud?
Just getting so dirty.
So it was a good movie with Emma. I think after I'd grown up a little bit and watched it again, I did love it. It was a great movie. But when I was a kid, it was quite terrifying.
The kitchen scene just.
Oh, yeah.
That was just.
Well,
terrifying.
I think what made that kitchen scene so terrifying was those dinosaurs were actually real.
Yeah.
Those weren't CGI dinosaurs, which a lot of people thought when they first watched that film.
robots, weren't they?
No, they were guys inside suits.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Love that.
they had to learn what a raptor would have run like, which is funny because that velociraptors were nowhere near that size, as we found out later, and they're actually half that size. But like,
Which
Yeah.
makes them a little bit more cute and less terrifying.
yeah, a little
They had
bit.
feathers too.
Yeah,
They did.
they were
Okay,
birds.
see, I would not have been
Look,
anywhere as
dinos-
terrified if they had made a realistic version.
Exactly.
Well,
Let's go all
what
the
they
way
have
back.
now found to be a realistic version.
Well, if we went in the realistic version, it wouldn't have even been called Jurassic Park. If I remember, it would have been called like Cretaceous Park or something like
yeah,
that.
that's true.
Doesn't really have
Yeah.
the same ring to
It's
it
not
now,
the
does it?
Jurassic period,
Cretaceous
is it?
Park.
The score was so good too.
That was amazing. And my brother used to play the trumpet in high school, and he used to play that song for recital every year, and everybody just sits there and they
Yeah.
love it. It doesn't matter if you're hearing it with the movie or if you're just hearing it, everybody just
Well,
stops.
it seems like every
It's
single person,
amazing.
even if you haven't watched that film, which I don't think there's anybody on earth to this day
Yeah.
that hasn't watched that film.
You know
but
the music.
but yet you still
Yeah.
know the music.
Exactly.
And that I think that really
100%.
comes down to John Williamson.
Yeah.
John Williams?
John Williams.
John Williams.
Williams.
Sorry, I keep getting him mixed up with John Williamson, the Australian musician.
That's a
I'm just like.
it's close. It's a close name.
It's a very close name. I'm sorry, guys. And it comes down to John Williams being like such an iconic composer when it comes to his music. Like nearly every single thing that you ever hear him do, he'll have trumpets in it.
Yeah.
His brass section is always from E.T., which is one of my childhood favorite movies, of course, to like Star Wars, to
Jaws.
to pretty much anything he does, he has some sort of brass. And as you said, as soon as you hear that sound, you're just like, oh my god, here's this John Williams score.
Yeah.
And then you start hearing those notes of Jurassic Park coming in, and you're just like, oh my god, I'm so excited for this. And to tell you honestly, Jurassic Park like will always have a fondness in my heart. Like as you said, I grew up as the same, loving dinosaurs growing up. I think without going down the gender stereotype route,
Sorry.
I was a male boy who just loved
A male boy.
male boy
Boy.
compared to like your female boys, you know. It happens. Don't judge. and like I grew up just loving dinosaurs. I wanted to be like a what's the no? It's not archaeologist.
Paleontologist.
Paleontologist. Yes, I
I
always
was
get
going to
those
say
mixed up.
geologist, but that's not
That's
even
rocks.
close.
Yeah, I grew up wanting to be a paleontologist and all that sort of stuff, and it just grew in me that I wanted, and it was probably that film that made me want to become a director, that like I do now. But without hurrying this along or anything like that, we'll move on to the next movie anyway. We'll go to M's favorite movie of all time.
The new Jurassic World.
We're not going to go there yet.
Okay.
We'll talk about that.
Fine.
We've got big
maybe-
things planned.
We've got very big things
Nice.
planned. We might even talk about that nearing the end of the podcast.
Fine.
How about
Miami
that?
Farm.
Yeah.
But I like
Okay.
Emma really wants to talk about her favorite film.
Okay.
So Emma's favorite film growing up. Emma, do you want to say what yours was?
It's Around the World with Timon and Pumbaa.
Okay, so this was released in 1996, 2 years after Lion King came out.
Okay, it's stable. It's alright. I
Yeah, she's
hit my
just
microphone.
dropping her microphone everywhere.
Mic drop.
So, Em, what made you fall in love with Around the World with Timon and Pumbaa?
So I was always a fan of The Lion King. And my favourite characters out of The Lion King were Timon and Pumbaa.
As it seems to be for everyone.
As it seems to be for everyone. I'm even wearing lovely pyjama pants with Timon and Pumbaa on them. And they are amazing. Anyway, so my mum just brought me home this VHS, going way back, VHS one day, put it in, started watching it, and then I would rewind it and watch it again, rewind it and watch it again, and I knew it from start to finish. Probably don't now, but I'm going to go try and find a hard DVD copy of it.
Which it seems nearly impossible to do.
But I'm going to go try and find it so I can watch it again.
I might have one at my house. Yeah.
Well, that's exciting news. That's very exciting news.
When you leave tonight and go home,
I'll
You
go
need to
home and
look.
I'll Snapchat it to you if I've got it.
And then he's
I'm
going to just
gonna be
reveal that he
tomorrow.
doesn't actually have it. He's like, haha, this is a practical joke.
but it was just always like a movie, like TV series, like a movie taken from the TV series, just about like two of my favorite characters, and that's just what I always
Just exploring
loved.
the world and that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
it's exploring the world.
So it's pretty much like it was your sick film. It was like the
Yeah.
movie that you watched when you were like sad, whatever.
Yeah,
Is
sad, sick,
Yeah,
bored.
it's pretty much the film that you watched. That was
Yeah.
it. That was the one
That
film.
was just my film, and I loved it.
Well, Ben, you seem to be very familiar with this movie. What was your thoughts on it?
Yeah, well, very similar to what Em was saying. They were my favourite characters from the movie as well. And as a kid, I would always think, we've seen a good movie, what happened to those guys, before the movie? What are they doing afterwards? And this
Yeah.
was kind of like a continuation on it. Gave you a bit more about, those two characters that we are. And yeah, exactly the same thing. Being
Yeah.
a kid and having that video and playing that video. And I think they did 3 of
I think
of
yeah,
that
story.
series.
Yeah,
And yeah, it was just funny. It was kind of like they did Looney Tunes, but with Lion King characters.
Yeah.
They were
Me, a
short,
cat,
funny.
and a warthog.
Yeah, and it just worked. It was, if you loved the Lion King, you were just naturally drawn to this progression of it.
Yeah.
Because it was just short and fun, and the two most funny characters from that movie got their own piece.
So you like that? It's just exploring their way of like life and all
Yeah.
that. Just exploring their lives outside of the Lion King. That's what
Exactly.
kind of drew you to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm actually really excited that you might have it, to be honest.
So Brooke, did you know about this before we even discussed it, or
Nope. I did not even know that
do
it
you
was
know what a
thing.
VHS is?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
we've at least got
Good
that
God,
one.
I'm not 10. I did own videos.
I'm sorry, it's hard to tell sometimes. Okay, well,
That was mean.
I'm sorry.
He's a mean human being.
Well, we'll move on to my favorite then. I don't know whether you guys know about it, but it's a little film called George of the Jungle.
George of the jungle. Watch out for that tree.
I think everybody knows the theme song for George of the Jungle. It's one of my favorite films of all time. I got to watch it literally just like a week ago now. It's got.
Took us a while to find it.
It took us a very long time to find a digital copy of it.
Like 24 hours to find it.
It has Brendan Fraser starring as George, which is absolutely amazing. Like he was my absolute favorite actor growing up as a kid. The Mummy and Encino Man and
Yes, Encino
just
Man.
pretty much anything Brendan Fraser appeared in
good.
was literally my favorite films. So George of the Jungle, that was pretty much my first film that I ever got to watch as a kid, which is amazing. That my family was even like, you know what? Let's let the kid watch this one.
And see what he turns out like later on.
Yeah, let's let him watch Brendan Fraser half naked. Why not? Let's do it.
I turned out fine.
Well, it was pretty ripped back in the
Yeah.
day.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I love how you pointed that out of everyone.
Yeah. Bradley agreed.
Everyone was
Hey.
thinking it.
Hey, guys can appreciate other guys.
Okay.
Okay, we're not
It's-
saying
It's
anything.
2018, all right?
I was about to say, no, it's not 2017.
Emma's living in the past.
Sorry, guys. Let's move on to 2018.
So, Brooke, what's your thoughts on George of the Jungle?
I loved George of the Jungle. Maybe not when I was a kid. I don't think I really took notice of much other than the hilarity of him just running into everything,
Yeah.
which was possibly
main premise of the film, pretty much.
The
Yeah,
best part, and just it never got old when I was a kid. It just, no matter how many times you watched it, how many times he just hit the tree or whatever, it was still hilarious.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, every single time he hit something as an adult watching that film, I still laughed my ass off every single time. That sort of humor is just hilarious,
Yeah.
and it never won't be funny. Let's be
And
honest.
the elephant is a giant dog.
Yes, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
That is pretty good.
And the gorillas talk and they live in quite civilized.
No, only one of the gorillas talks.
But it
Yes.
was John Cleese who did the voice
Yes.
of the gorilla.
John Cleese did do the voice. And then you have Judd Apatow's wife, Leslie Mann, who is the George's girlfriend.
Ursula.
Yeah, Ursula.
Yeah. Ursula! Yeah.
And she played the part absolutely brilliantly.
Amazing. When she ran into trees, it was just...
She more ran into trees getting held by George.
By him,
Yeah.
So more
Wasn't
him
really her
doing
fault.
anything than it.
She was just helping him run into trees.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Ben, what was your thoughts on George of the Jungle?
Yeah, it was just fun. It was a great kids movie. You know, it was fun. There was lots of action. It was really funny, and talking animals,
It's just...
dogs that were giant elephants.
Yeah.
Like.
That sort of human never dies.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's unfortunate that we don't see Brendan Fraser anymore.
Yeah. What happened to Brendan Fraser?
I have no idea.
No one knows.
I don't think anybody does, really. We could probably find him somewhere on Google. It probably is one of those things that's like,
IMDb.
what
IMDb
happened to
here.
Brendan Fraser?
Oh yeah, type that in.
If Brendan's listening and he needs a job,
Hey, come and be on the podcast. I would be totally
Is it
happy
Ian
for
or
that.
Ian?
yeah.
Brendan or
Brendan.
Brendan?
Bren.
Ian.
Come on, guys. Respect the Fraser.
I was
Not Fraser. Fraser.
Sorry. can't
Respect
spell.
him. But legit, that's still one of my favorite films. It's actually one of the first films I actually remember ever breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Way before I ever noticed Deadpool doing it, which is what everybody knows is the fourth wall breaking now. But watching the narrator talk to the people in the
Yeah.
film and them arguing about the film itself and like all the different bits and pieces. Now that sort of humor to me is perfect. If you can make fun of yourself, then I like that's it. That's the great film.
Yeah.
That's a very Aussie thing too, I guess. Making fun of yourself and doing that kind of stuff is very Aussie. I guess in our culture.
In our culture, so I guess
that's
that film
something
does.
that you would like in a movie.
Yeah, I guess that film does tickle a lot with probably Australians more so than anything because that seems to be part of our culture, making fun of ourselves. So when they watch a film that happens to just be making fun of itself the entire way through, well, you're just gonna enjoy it to that point, I guess. We're gonna move on from George of the Jungle, and we're just gonna talk about movies and TV series that have nostalgia-based stuff in them. Like as we were talking about before, Jurassic World 2 is coming out. We're not going to go into it too much because we will be doing a future podcast on it. But I'm sure everybody here is pretty excited about Jurassic World 2.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm looking at Brendan Fraser still, but yes, I am excited for Jurassic World 2.
Cool. I'm probably the least excited about Jurassic World 2
Why?
here. Just because I feel like the first Jurassic World film was a little bit too much pandering to nostalgia. There wasn't much of a story, more so, hey, here's a whole lot of stuff from the first Jurassic Park film.
Well, it
and
was kind of about getting the audience back because do you remember the third one? The third one wasn't too good.
but number 2 wasn't even that good.
Compared with number 3, number 2 was really good.
Well, okay, the number 3 at least had Willie H. Macy in it. That was probably the only thing that kind of saved it.
Yeah.
And Sam Neill came back.
And Sam Neill being back. But this was kind of like, well, all right, well, let's put the park to work. Because I think a lot of people want to say, well, you know, you've been talking about having a dinosaur park. Let's see it in action. Let's see how it would run.
And let's see it fail miserably,
Exactly.
like the
Well-
first film.
Yeah.
I mean, in real life, if anybody was to make a dinosaur park with real dinosaurs, you know, how they did it, I feel like it would fail.
Yeah, but you'd think after the first time it failed, they'd be like, okay, maybe we shouldn't do this. Guys, the dinosaurs got out. Do you not think that they're going to get out again? No, you know what? Let's build another park. We'll just do it all over again. They're not going to get out.
And we won't have Newman
right.
from Seinfeld programming the park.
Yeah, exactly. We won't have Nidri or whatever his name was, and then we won't have Samuel L. Jackson like trying to hack that hack.
Samuel L.
Jurassic
Jackson was in
World,
it.
they were making hybrids too, weren't
Yeah,
they?
like let's build a park
Yeah.
and then make animals that can escape the park. Let's do that. That's a brilliant idea.
And that is one of the big plot points for the second one, is why they made that dinosaur so gnarly and so dangerous. And that kind of leads...
But
We're probably getting ahead of ourselves here. I don't want to get too far into it.
But just let's go back to Jurassic World 1 for a split second. There was one thing that always kind of annoyed me, and it was the fact that had they not built a giant dinosaur-sized door
they
in that
couldn't
enclosure,
get through it.
he wouldn't have gotten through, and he would have been like, "Oh no,
I don't
I'm
fit."
actually stuck in."
Maybe
here."
they were hoping they could, put a little
that's
harness
so
on him and
true.
rove him one day.
Yeah.
So they need him to walk through the door.
Oh, sorry, I've completely forgot about zoos and how they want to rove everything.
But what I didn't get, the Velociraptors, when they escaped the Avery, and I think it was the second or third one. You know, the giant Avery.
Avery. Are you talking about the pterodactyls?
Yeah, the
The flying
pterodactyls.
ones?
Raptors. Yeah, the pterodactyls. Where am I going with this? But how could they not fly off the island once they escaped?
Well, okay. If we're going
Was
to go
there, like,
down,
a
if we're going to go down
mythical
to full
force?
Jurassic Park lore right now, which we won't go
Was
too
there a
far
big
into because we want to do this
mythical
later on.
Jurassic force around the island.
No, there was a whole plot point about it where there was a specific type of shrubbery on the island which had a certain lysine or
Yeah,
something like that in
lysine,
it,
yeah.
which the dinosaurs couldn't live without. So if they fly away, they just die.
Okay, thank you for clearing that up. Yeah.
So there is an actual reasoning why they can't just fly off the
okay,
island and survive.
see, that makes more sense to me now.
But in Jeff Goldblum's words, life will find a way.
Can you say it like
Life
Jeff
always-
Goldblum would say it?
Life will find a way.
That's not bad.
Can you say it?
Life breaks free. Life finds a way.
That was so much better than mine. So much better than mine. You win, hands down.
He's our impressionist.
So, as I was trying to point out, though, like nostalgia today seems to be part of everyday culture. Everything seems to be coming back. We've got Roseanne coming back. We've got Will and Grace. We've got Gilmore Girls. In TV, it seems to be every single show is getting brought back as a revival series, which is kind of a little bit too much for me. I'm kind of like, let's slow it down, guys. I want new content, not the same old content that I've been growing up with.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to movies, like we're remaking so many movies and making sequels and prequels. Like there's a movie that had Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn in it called Overboard, which is now getting remade with Anna Faris and I can't think of the other guy's name.
That guy.
And they're remaking that, and then they're like obviously they're making the new Star Wars film coming out, and they're making Jurassic World 2, and then they're remaking Scarface, which is coming out this year, and The Crow's
Who's going to be Scarface?
I think it's Diego Luna from Rogue One.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's him. I can't remember
I
correctly.
can see that. Okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't know they were making another Crow.
They're making another Crow with Jason Momoa as the main dude, completely
yeah, I can
replacing
see
Brandon Lee.
But he actually died in the second one.
Brandon Lee,
Yeah.
the actual actor. No, he died making the first film.
The first one, yeah.
He actually got killed by actual
couldn't
shrapnel.
remember. Yeah.
Oh
during
my
the
God.
during the making of the first film.
Yeah.
But they're also making Halloween. They're making Mulan. They're making another Creed film.
But the thing with Mulan is there's no music. They're
Yes.
not singing in it, and
They're
it
not-
makes me really upset.
There's no Be a Man. There's no any like Go Worth Fighting For. There's none of that.
You've already heard us sing,
We've
so
already
we're not
sung
gonna
those
do that.
those songs. We're going to go into it. But even like Mary Poppins Returns, they're just doing so much nostalgia that is it starting to become too much
much?
nostalgia. Like I know I love the stuff I grew up with, but do you want to see it thrown back at your face over and over again?
Yeah.
Ben?
Well, it seems to be coming in waves. Like we're sort of at the peak of Marvel and superhero movies now as well. I'm kind of waiting. Are we going to get sick of Marvel at some point and go, well,
No.
how many years have we been running this for now?
To tell you honestly, with 10 years of it, I'm actually starting to get a little bit weary of superheroes.
I think
Yeah.
they need to kind of ease off on Spider-Man a bit. Just
What do you mean? They've only made, like 3 different iterations of him at this stage?
how many many movies does he have now?
That's true. I feel
What,
like
7?
he gets younger
Yeah.
each movie too.
He does.
He does. But it's also good because he was only in high school, wasn't he?
Yeah, it actually makes
Yeah.
sense now.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But is it to the point now where there's just no fresh ideas in Hollywood anymore?
Maybe.
Or are they just being lazy, saying, you know what, this worked 20 years ago and people loved it, let's just redo it
Yeah.
and make money?
To tell
I
you
mean, clothing always comes back eventually. Hairstyles.
Of course you went back to clothing now, didn't you?
High-waisted pants. High-waisted pants.
Everything eventually makes its way around and comes back, whether that's in 10 years or
But
50.
here's my
circle.
point about it. When it comes to nostalgia and things coming back around and stuff like that, you can make movies that are the same style as what was back then.
Without
But
making the
without
same
making the exact same thing.
Yeah.
One of the things that always brings me, which actually kind of annoyed me, was Jumanji.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jumanji was a film that had a sequel made about it with Dwayne Johnson and all that, which is amazing. I'm glad
I don't really
that
think it was a
there's-
sequel, though.
it doesn't have to be a Jumanji film. That movie could have been its own thing
It
without
was-
ever being attached.
It was
Yeah.
a great movie. It was a fantastic movie. It was hilarious, but you're right. There's no reason for that to be called
Yeah.
Jumanji. There's no reason for it to be attached to the first Jumanji because it had nothing
No.
to do with it.
Exactly,
Absolutely
and
nothing.
and that's my point. So we can keep this nostalgia vibe going, and we can keep it we can keep that same style coming back. But do we need this nostalgia thing that everybody in Hollywood seems to be thinking that we need?
Yeah. I think it'll run its course eventually. It'll get to the
Yeah.
point where they go,
It'll fizzle out.
it's been too much, we need something fresh, and then we'll get, a new slate. We won't see too much of it anymore.
We'll just get Fast and Furious 9.
Oh, when they finally go to space.
Space.
They're just going to keep going. Fast and Furious will never end.
They'll end up
I-
in Pluto by the last movie.
if I remember correctly, what I read maybe a month or so ago now, they did say this is the final trilogy sort of thing. They started with Charlize Theron coming in, and she'll be taking place over 3 films, and after the next 2 films, that's it.
Jesus
There's
Christ,
no more
still
Fast and
another
Furious.
2 films.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Oh, they're trying
Yeah.
to create their own. They've created their own cinematic universe before even Marvel came on the scene.
Yeah,
So
they're just going to keep going and going and going and going, and getting more ridiculous.
Yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
We're in a different reality now. Okay, I guess that makes sense.
Parallel universes feature.
We've
We
actually
drove so fast that we went to another universe.
we've now got 5 Vin Diesels. Oh my god.
There's nothing wrong with that, okay?
Well, yeah, imagine what if they had 5 Jason Stathams all fight 5 Vin Diesels, all fighting 5 The Rocks, and just a mass rock off.
Rock off.
I don't
That'd be
know.
amazing. You just sit there, you're just oh, okay.
Okay, so we're about time to wrap up with Skip the Ads episode 3. But before we do, we're going to go back to our quiz like we did in the last episode last week. Because Ben was the one that did it in the last week's episode, we're going to go to our special guest, which is Brooke. We've got 8 questions, so this is our pizza quiz. You've got 8 slices to answer.
I'm going to starve.
You might starve, yeah. But no, we'll
If
see.
you get at least 2 answers correct, you can have a brownie.
Yes.
Yes. So we're going to use our mystical timer that we don't know the actual ending of. Ben, can you keep an eye on it for us?
Yep.
Awesome.
It is yours.
Me and Em will go one through next questions one at a time.
Yep.
I don't really talk much English other than this podcast, so let's go from there. I'm going to start it off. So when I say go, we're going to go through the questions
Who's
and
going
see how you
first?
go.
You or me?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
He just
cool.
said that.
Yeah.
I didn't.
She
That's
wasn't
all
really
right.
listening to me. She doesn't do that much. Okay, so you ready, Ben?
Let's do it.
Brooke, you ready?
Sure.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Go.
Okay, so question 1. Who was the actor who played the titular character from George of the Jungle?
What?
Who played George from George of the Jungle?
You just said his name, wasn't it? Brandon Fraser?
Yep,
Yep.
go.
Question 2. What was the first duet sung in Greece between Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta?
The first duet.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a season in the song
We
name.
literally sung
There's
it.
there's a
So
season in it.
was it just Summer Night?
Yes.
Yes. Was that
Okay.
the last song as well? I
Anyway,
think that was the last
you're on a
song.
timer.
Question
I'm
3.
sorry.
What is the song that Timon and Pumbaa are most famous for singing?
Hakuna Matata?
Yes.
Yes. Who directed the 1993 classic blockbuster Jurassic Park?
Who directed it?
Yep. You can pass.
You can pass.
We can go back to it.
I feel like I want to say, didn't we say it before? It was Steven Spielberg.
Yes.
Yes.
Number 5. What was George from George of the Jungle so famous for hitting all the time?
The tree.
Yes.
Good work. What was the name of at least one of the 2 main groups in Greece?
Oh, the Pink Ladies.
Yep.
Yes. Question
Yeah,
7.
yeah.
Around the World with Timon and Pumbaa was known for being a spin-off of what famous animated film?
The Lion King.
Yes. Name one of the 3 main characters from Jurassic Park.
One of the 3
The main
main
actors.
Actors.
Oh. Wow. Jurassic Park?
Jurassic Park.
I can do
Yeah.
Jurassic
Not Jurassic
World.
World, Jurassic Park.
No, I
This
have
was
no
Ben's
idea.
favorite film. He's got them all in his head.
I'm sorry, Ben.
You're currently both tying at the moment.
I can do Jurassic World, but not Jurassic Park.
And we're out of time.
Oh no.
Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, and Laura Dern.
Done.
Yeah.
Yep, would have
Yeah.
got none of those.
Okay, well, we said pretty much all of those names during this podcast, so
Damn it.
kind of a little bit sad, but you did.
Listening's
The
very
only
important.
thing that came into
How many was that, Em?
That was 7.
That was 7?
So you both got 7.
Awesome. Wait, yep.
Did I?
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
pretty
because
sure.
the timer ran out on your last.
Yeah, we did hit 7 actually. So to end the podcast, we've both got 7 pieces of pizza last week with Ben
Did
and
not
this
starve.
week with Brooke. We're going to end the podcast there. I'm Bradley,
I'm Ben.
I'm Emma.
Brooke.
and this was Skip the Ads.
See you later.
See you.